everyone, we're going to sketch and find the area bounded by the graph of the given equations. Square root of x plus square root of y equals 1, x equals 0, and y equals 0. All right, so the first thing we want to look at is our domain here. So if you have this square root of x, that means our x has to be greater than or equal to 0. All right, for the y, our y also has to be greater than or equal to 0. And if you solve for y, or let's do square root of y equals 1 minus square root of x, then square root of y has to also be greater than or equal to 0. That would mean that x, square root of x, is less than or equal to 1. Which means, since it's also greater than 0, our x has to be in between 0 and 1. So that would be your x. Remember, we're bounded by the x. Well, this is y equals 0, and this is going to be x equals 0. So we're basically bounded by the quadrant 1, basically, here. Now, before we continue on, you could have done the same thing with the x instead. You could have said square root of x equals 1 minus square root of y, and did the exact same thing, and we could have gone from 0 to 1 on the y versus 0 to 1 on the x. You'd still get the same answer. Now for the graph, it looks something like this. So basically, it's something like that. And then I come up here a little bit. So here it is. All right. So, since we know that it's from 0 to 1 on the x, that means it's also 0 to 1 on the y, just because you could have written it different as well. So what we want to do is solve for y. If I solve for y, I have square root of y equals 1 minus square root of x. So y would just be, you square both sides, 1 minus square root of x squared. So basically what we could, our area is going to be from 0 to 1 of our y, which is with respect to x, which is the same as the integral from 0 to 1 of 1 minus square root of x squared dx. And just so you know, I know I'm being repetitious, we could have done the same thing, but gone from 0 to 1 of x dy, and then this would have been from 0 to 1 of 1 minus square root of y squared dy. Just so you know, you could have done it either way. All right, so let's go ahead and integrate this. So I'm going to write this as the integral from 0 to 1, 1 minus square root of x squared dx. Let's go ahead and expand this. So that would be the integral from 0 to 1. And using your factoring facts, or this is a perfect square trinomial. So this would be 1 minus 2 square root of x plus x. Just using that, dx. All right, let's integrate this. So that's going to be x minus 2, and this is x to the power of 1/2, so that's going to be times 2/3 x to the power of 3/2 plus 1/2 x squared. And we're evaluating this from 0 to 1. When you substitute in 1, you're going to get 1 minus 2 times 2/3, sorry. All right. So there's the 2 and 2/3 plus 1/2. All right, and then as you substitute in the 0 here, you're just going to get minus 0 because they have x's in them. So we're going to get 1 minus 4/3 plus 1/2. And this would be 1 plus 1/2 is 3/2 minus 4/3. So this is going to end up being 6. So it's going to be 9 minus 8. That gives you 1/6. Just doing a little middle math there. All right. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.